Hey Sagittarius, this is your monthly love reading for the month of June 2017. Okay, so your cards have already been shuffled because this is the second time I'm doing this video. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the cards in your past position. First card in your past position is the Three of Swords. Second card in your past position is the Wheel of Fortune. And the third card in your past position is the Moon. Okay, so starting with the Three of Swords. Three of Swords can represent misunderstandings or a strained relationship, okay? Or maybe a relationship that's strained to its breaking point. It signifies the tragic emotions that come along with a breakup of a significant relationship. It could symbolize a big fight, um, the pain that comes with just being in a tumultuous situation for a long time, ongoing lies, just a lot of very hurtful feelings. So it represents pain and suffering, okay? Or perhaps pain that comes from three directions. So sometimes this can be indicative of maybe a love triangle where if the person doesn't know how to make a decision, he or she loves one person, loves the other person, they can't decide, then all three people will be in pain, or he's causing himself pain, and then in turn, the other two people could be causing him pain as well. So that's also the Three of Swords. Three of Swords can also be the residual pain of, like I said, ongoing lies, or maybe the cold shoulder or silent treatment your partner has been giving that to you for a while. And, so in the past position, which is what we're talking about, you're coming from a bad breakup, or you're suffering the effects of this type of a situation, okay? And the sadness and whatever you've gone through is a big contributor to what your present situation is, which we'll find out soon. So the next card in your past position is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is the learning to go with the flow, okay? You have to accept the ups and the downs. So if you're on the Wheel of Fortune and things were going well for you, then it represents that upcoming you might have some trouble sometimes, and vice versa. If things were troublesome, then eventually the wheel is going to spin you back around to a more positive. All right, so in the past position, it represents the foundation of where you are now. So basically, a big change in your past altered the course of where things were going for you in your relationship. Okay? Um, and that's, pretty much in line with the Three of Swords. So if you had a big breakup, then the Wheel of Fortune is saying that this breakup basically is a big contributor to how you go ahead in your future. So the third card in the past position is the Moon. And, we know the Moon card represents deep emotions, confusion, a lack of clarity. It could be your intuition speaking to you. Okay, in relationships, it can signify a deep insecurity within you, or just a deep love for your partner, but something is tugging at your gut. Okay, it can be you, it can be an insecurity, it could be your instincts telling you that something's up. Okay, it can also be an overwhelming feeling of just not being able to be without your partner, that I can't live without you feeling. But in the past position, it points towards a period of strife or confusion, okay? And once again, this strife or confusion is a contributing factor to your current situation. It can also mean that you remember something from your past incorrectly, okay? Maybe your perception of a person or a situation or event is a little bit skewed. All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to the cards in your present position. Okay, so the first card in your present position is the Queen of Swords. Okay, and the next card in your present position is the Page of Swords. And the third card in your present position is the Four of Cups. Okay, so Queen of Swords, okay? She's a feminine, independent, assertive. Can be a little aggressive at times, but she's a perfectionist, ambitious, no nonsense. Okay? So in the present position, this is either you or someone around you who exhibits these qualities. Okay? So it's basically saying it's time to be your own person. Be more free spirited. Okay? You know what you want in love and you're ready to go after it. It also means that you won't put up. It means you know what you won't put up with. Okay, so you're coming from a past of a lot of heartbreak, a lot of strife, a lot of confusion. Okay, the moon being the last card in the past position. So now that has led you to be here. Maybe a little bit more cold, maybe a little bit more calculated. All right, you don't have time for it because your emotions were so jumbled up and you were in so much pain previously that here in the present position, you have unveiled your sword and you're ready to just cut through all of that. Okay, so then we move over now to the Page of Swords, and it's a fresh, demanding kind of a challenge is what this card represents. Okay, it's your position. It's a challenge to your position in the world, or it's a person who challenges your position in the world or challenges your stance. So if you've put your foot down, this Page of Swords could be coming in to challenge you. Oh, are you really this cold? Have you really decided that, you're putting your foot down? Who knows? Okay, so this card represents aggression, arrogance, all right, turbulent, trying too hard. So in the present position, it's saying that you may need to reassess your relationships. Have you been overbearing? Okay, do you need to tone it down? Try to be a little bit more understanding and a little bit less critical of others' point of view. All right, it can indicate the revealing of harsh truths or signal that a dispute is coming. So basically, it's time to ask the hard questions in your relationship. Okay, so if in the past you didn't leave the relationship, but now you just have taken a more tough stance, this card is basically challenging that stance. Okay, so then the last card in the present position is the Four of Swords. And I'm sorry, the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups represents self-reflection, meditation, contemplation, okay? It represents a lack of perspective and sort of a level of jadedness. So in love, you may be at a stalemate. Your relationship may feel stagnant, or maybe both partners are not on the same page. All right, you're finding it hard to accept or even see the good in your situation. Can also represent an unstable relationship or a relationship without a traditional commitment. Perhaps the relationship has run out of steam or one lover has withdrawn from the other. Okay? In the present position, it represents thinking outside of any constraints that you've set for yourself. So you basically need to think outside of the box. You need to see your relationship from a different perspective, okay? And um, maybe consider that certain thought patterns, okay, or habits are sabotaging your love life. So this is what the Four of Cups is kind of telling you. So you've come out of a turmoil. You come out of turmoil. You've had enough. All right, and you need to think about where you're coming from and what you have done, all right, to contribute to whatever you're trying to come out of. All right, so let's go ahead and see what your future represents. Okay, the first card in the future position is the World card. No, I put it over here. Okay. Da, 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 da. Next card in the future position, Ten of Swords. I'll get this right eventually. I promise you. I promise you. Because I'm trying to read, like I said, I'm trying to do from your left to my right. So your left to your right, and which means the opposite for me. Okay, so the Ten of Swords and then the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so the World card represents fulfillment, okay, accomplishment, and success. you are on the right track, okay? It also represents one stage ending and another beginning. So this world card, basically, whatever you have been in, you're heading into a new cycle, okay? It shows the potential for growth and deepening in your relationship. It can also represent a coming together, and also signifies that you're at the end of any cruelty or any strife that may have been going on in your relationship. All right, so in your past, you had a very tumultuous time, okay? And presently, you're trying to figure out what direction to go, what happens next. So this card is saying to you that the possibilities are endless for you at this time, okay? If you choose to work on the relationship together as a couple, then most likely you're going to have the success that you want. But it still requires that changing of attitude. Okay, it still requires the changing of whatever negative thought patterns that you've had in the future. So if you've had a negative experience with your partner, you can't hold on to those negative feelings and expect that your relationship is going to continue to progress, because you're going to stay stagnant and you're going to continue that cycle. So the world card is telling you that you have the opportunity to start over, okay? Um, but on the opposite, this can also it can also represent, no, you know what? We're going to leave it right here because I want to stay a little bit positive, because we're already going into a kind of murky negative situation with this card here. So we've come out of the world card in the future position, which is your possibilities. And now we're moving into the Ten of Swords, which represents some type of failure, destruction, all right, hopelessness. In a love reading, it's kind of telling you that there's not much more you can get from this relationship, or you're not gonna get anything else from this relationship. This is the absolute end, okay? It represents some type of betrayal, all right, rejection from your partner, coming from your partner. So in the future position, this is where you're headed if you don't make some type of change now, all right? This is basically rock bottom. So, will there be a rapid descent to this, or is it going to take time? We're not sure. But whatever is going on now, if not changed, so we saw your cards in the past position, what you're coming from. So, currently, you have the opportunity, right? You have the opportunity to make some changes, but if not, this is where you can wind up. You need to reevaluate your situation and prevent this from happening, okay? And the last card for your reading, Sagittarius, is the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles kind of depicts luxury, financial security, self-confidence. Okay, look at this. Look at this woman. Look at her face. She's self-confident. You can clearly see, as a Pentacles card, this is a card of materialism. It's the 9, so we're not quite at the completion of the 10 yet, but we're almost there. Has everything that she wants, but this is not necessarily a love card, right? So that's what the 9 of Pentacles is saying. You have everything you want, except for maybe that love or that good love relationship that you seek. Okay, so it can also indicate that your relationship is lacking commitment. All right, it can indicate two lovers who are too carefree about each other. It can also represent the spark of a new relationship. Okay, this card is saying this is the time to cultivate what you want. Look around. All right, maybe you have what you want around you, but you're just not seeing it. And that's also what the Four of Cups was alluding to. All right, you just need to speak up. It can suggest a fairy tale ending. All right, and in the future position, this card is a sense of hope that things will work out. All right, so once again, this your future cards are telling you that you have the opportunity to get to where you want, or to get what you want, or the kind of love that you want, but you have to make sure that you don't continue the same negative cycle, because this is what's gonna be waiting for you. Okay, and then here, you could have it all, but then love is missing. So if you come out of that situation, you may be hurt, you may be betrayed, or you know, you'll wind up here. You might be alone, but you have everything that you need, and you have the tools to have the relationship you want. You just have to come away from this. Okay, Sagittarius? So I hope that reading resonated with someone. And if so, please let me know in the comments. I love to hear from you guys, okay? And I will see you guys next month, okay? Thank you. Bye.